James Lupton, delighted to be joined with Caoimhin Agyarko. Caoimhin, how are we doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. All good, thanks. Feeling good. Obviously coming in the fight week, so looking forward to it.
That's it. Into fight week. First of all, let's just go into what's your your fight week routine. What would you be doing now, winding down, coming into fight week?
Yeah, so just I've got 1 or 2 sessions tomorrow. Might do a little run, and then just a kind of late session with Al, Monday and Tuesday, and then we head up to Nottingham on Wednesday for the media day, and then I think public workout. So all the hard training's done now, so it's just managing the weight and getting the last couple pounds off.
You mentioned obviously you got your media day, you got your workout. What's it like doing all the media obligations during fight week when all you want to do is get in the ring?
Yeah, do you know what? I know a lot of fighters that don't really like it or find it a bit of a nightmare because they're making weight, but it doesn't really bother me. The way I think about it is it keeps me busy and keeps my mind off making weight. Do you know what I mean? I don't really struggle to make. Not that I make it middleweight easy, but I don't struggle to make middleweight. But obviously, when you're a bit dry, a lot of people can be a bit snappy. But I just think of it as it's keeping my mind off actually making weight, getting the day in instead of sitting about doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, a couple of days before the weigh in, you're not really doing heavy training. Do you know what I mean? So you're not really that occupied. So yeah, I don't mind it.
You've had a announcement recently for your opponent, Juan Carlos Rubio, 18-1 with 9 stoppages on his record. Obviously, quite a late opponent. For yourself, does that hinder you in any way? Obviously, have you had time to look at him? Can you prepare for him, or is that not something that you really do?
No, it doesn't hinder me in any way. Listen, he's a southpaw, so thankfully my last 3 spars were southpaws, just out of sheer luck. But no, listen, it doesn't hinder it won't hinder my performance in any way. I don't really look at my opponents. I think you can overanalyze things and look too deep into it. But I looked at 20 seconds of him and accepted the fight straight away, as I have with every other fighter that I was asked for the fight. So yeah, it's not something that I kind of overlook or overanalyze. I let my team deal with the tactics and stuff like that. Let them look at my opponents and tell me what I need to do.
A lot of fighters prefer not to fight southpaws. A bit more trickier, a bit more awkward. For yourself, is there a preference for you or not too fussed?
Makes no difference to me. I got them 10-ounce gloves on. My shots are going to land regardless, so it makes no difference. Because I can box southpaw or orthodox myself, so like I said, it makes no difference if I need to change it up and turn southpaw myself to make it a bit easier or to make it a bit harder for him. Then I'll do so. But yeah, it makes no difference to me.
There's been a bit of quite a bit of talk about your opponent for this one. I think Hassan Dan was the name circulating, obviously former world champion, top level fighter and operator. Just how close was that coming to fruition?
Yeah, it was very close. I was gutted that we didn't get Hassan Dan. Obviously it's a big enough name for me to fight, a real test for me. Obviously former 2-time world champion. So I was gutted that it didn't come through. It was very close to happening, but I think he was close to accepting it, and then he had asked someone that I know, how good am I? And they said I wouldn't be taking the fight. Let me put it that way. And he went back and asked for a lot more money. So listen, I don't think he's outpricing himself in any way, but I just feel like he's at a stage in his career where he's had big fights, and if it's some sort of risk to put another L on his record, then he's going to want a good payday for it.
Had that fight have gone through and you got the win against him, obviously, like we mentioned, a big name, former world champion. What would that have done for your career? Where would that have propelled you to?
Yeah, I think listen, it would have been great for my career in terms of having a real name on my record, a real test for me. Depending on how I dealt with him. Personally, I feel like I would have stopped him mid to late. But it would have been great for my career because Hassan Adam's highly ranked with all the organisations, and like on BoxRec and stuff. I think he's ranked 19th in the world. I know BoxRec doesn't mean much, but with all the governing bodies, he's ranked high enough. So it would have been a great win, a great fight for me, and obviously I feel like I would have won that fight. So it would have been a great win for me, and it would have been great for my career.
Obviously, we don't know how much longer or how many fights he's got left in his career, but if that was to come about and his name was to crop up again for yourself in the future, is it a fight you'd still be interested in taking, let's say, 6 months to a year down the line?
Yeah, without doubt. If I was ready to take it now, I'd take it in my next fight, which I hope to fight in June, July. I hope to fight in October again. So that could be a fight for Belfast. You know what I mean? That could be a real name, a real test. So that's a fight that I'll put to Eddie and say, let's get this one for Belfast. She told me that we need a real name for Belfast, so why not do Hassan Adam? You know what I mean? Former world champion, a real test for me. So yeah, that's definitely a fight I definitely want down the line.
You mentioned Eddie there, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. They've kept you very active since you signed with those guys. How's it been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I can't complain. Literally no complaints with Eddie and Matchroom. They've treated me so well. Eddie's took a real interest in me, and I feel like he's doing his best job in terms of promoting me and getting my name out there and keeping me active. Do you know what I mean? I was out in, I signed in, I think it was end of October, November, start of November. Had me straight out in December, and then a couple of weeks off, and straight back in the ring in early March. So yeah, I think everything's going to plan. We, like I said, we have a plan to fight three, 4 times this year. Hopefully, fight maybe America, and then a big one back home at some stage. If not, definitely the start of 2023.
Absolutely. Let's talk about this upcoming fight. Obviously, Irish takeover in Nottingham. Yourself, obviously Mick Conlan, Thomas Carty, and I'm sure there's other Irish fighters on the card as well. Just how pleased are you to be a part of this card?
Yeah, I'm over the moon to be a part of this card. I mean, it's stuff like this is what I'm in boxing for. Do you know what I mean? On an all Irish card, on a away day in Nottingham. Do you know what I mean? And for Mick to fight for a world title, it's a great opportunity for me to be on this card and showcase my skills in front of a massive Irish massive Irish fans. I think I'm going to be late on in the card. Could well be Caoimhin. So it's a great card for me to be on, and I'm excited. I can't wait for fight week to start down in Nottingham. I can't wait to go down, do the public workout, the media day, the press conference. I'm excited for it all. So I just want to get down there right at the moment and then have a big performance on Saturday night.
You mentioned there you may be co-main event, or you're going to be there or thereabouts towards the end of the card. What would that do for yourself in your progression? You know, getting on to the later slots this early in your career.
Yeah, well, I've been told that I'm co-main, so that's unbelievable for me. 10 fights in, on an Irish card, for me to be co-main on a massive card, it's surreal. Do you know what I mean? It's everything that I've worked hard for and dreamt of. Do you know what I mean? If things are going the plan for me. I mean, I picked up my first title last time out and had my first defence. So I don't think I'd be at this stage 10 fights in, already in the top, say, 15, top 20 in the world with the WBA. So it's surreal for me. Now, listen, it changes nothing really, because I actually forget that I'm that I'm WBA champ. I look at myself as a contender, and which I am. Do you know what I mean? That it's great to win that belt, and I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied. This is only the start. Do you know what I mean? And this winning that belt just makes me want to train harder, keep on progressing, and hopefully within a year or two be fighting for world titles.
Being co-main event so early in your career, does that bring any pressure to you? Any added pressure at all?
No, not at all. Everyone always talks about pressure in boxing, and like my last fight, it was, is there any pressure on you to perform, or like first fight with Matchroom, and there's a lot of expectations in you. I don't feel pressure. I've been doing this since I was 7 years old. Do you know what I mean? This is my hobby. This is my job. This is what I've been doing since I was a kid. I mean, it just comes natural. Once I'm in the ring, there is no pressure. the only pressure there is that I put on myself. The only expectations is that I put on myself. Everyone expects me to do well, but I don't focus on any of that. I focus on the expectations that I put on myself because no one's expectations for me will outweigh mine. Do you know what I mean? So no, I don't feel like there'll be any pressure, whether I'm on a big call, whether I'm Caoimhin, whether I'm headlining. Do you know what I mean? I don't. I'm a calm kind of fighter, and I don't really let all that get to me.
Have you ever felt pressure when it comes to boxing?
When it comes to boxing, no, not really. The only pressure I've ever felt when it comes to boxing is the decision that I had to make back in 2017. Whether, do you know what I mean? When I got stabbed, I felt like there was a lot of pressure on me to bring myself out of a dark hole. And when I hit rock bottom, there was a pressure on me to get my career back up and running. Do you know what I mean? That's the only pressure I've ever really felt. Other than that, not in boxing in terms of doing well or achieving, just the pressure or the expectations that I put on myself, not from anybody else. Do you know what I mean? I don't, like I said, I don't focus on it. I know everyone expects me to do well, or maybe they don't expect me to do well, but I don't focus on any of that, anyone else's expectations or pressure they put on me. I focus on myself, um, and I know where I want to be in this sport, and that's not going to be easy. So I already have expectations on my shoulders, but I don't. Like I said, I don't focus on pressure. Pressure's for tires, but then again, pressure creates diamonds. So you know,
You mentioned there, obviously, back then when you got stabbed, it's well documented what had happened. We met shortly after that ourselves. Now, because of experiencing that, and as you mentioned there, you went into a bit of a black hole afterwards. You suffered with, mentally after the experience you went through. Do you feel after experiencing that nothing else can be worse than that in the ring as such?
yeah. Listen, I think there's different stages of life where things are going to be very tough for you, or affect you differently. For me, I've I've I'm a very I'm very strong mentally, and I've always been strong mentally even before I got stabbed. But I'm someone who can face adversity and bounce back. Listen, I've touch wood, it never happens, but I've never been dropped, or I've never took defeat in a professional ring, so that could um obviously affect me a different way mentally. But I don't think so. Listen, I nearly lost my life, and I was an inch from bleeding out, so I don't think there is anything that can compare to that in terms of affecting me mentally. Do you know what I mean? It's something that's affected my life and affects me to this day, um, and I've overcome that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think there is something that can affect me mentally in the ring.
Absolutely. I just want to talk about a stablemate of yours, Sky Nicholson. Uh, shared a gym, share a management team. She had her debut this weekend. Very impressive, very slick, great footwork, hands down, very good to watch. What did you make of her performance, and is that something that you guys had expected after seeing her in the gym?
Yeah, listen, everyone knows how technically good Sky is. I watched it last night. I thought she was very, very good. I mean, one of the judges gave one round against her, and I think that was a bit harsh because I don't know. I'd love to know what round that was because I thought she coasted the fight. But listen, she got the win. That's the main thing. And yeah, that's what we expected. She was up against a 3-0 opponent from in her hometown. So fair play to Sky for taking that fight on her debut. And we expected the girl to be tough enough and come and give it a fight. But Sky made it look easy, to be fair. Um, not being overly critical with Sky. I would have liked to see her put put more shots together, more combinations, and maybe try and force a stoppage. But she doesn't really need. She didn't really need to. Do you know what I mean? She was coasting, so why take the risk? Sometimes it's just good to get the first one out of the way, and then you can go back and look at certain things that you need to work on.
Just how good can Sky be?
She can be world champion without doubt. And I've seen her in the gym. She trains extremely hard. She's learning every day. She's improving every day. She was inspiring people like Dennis McCann, obviously not full out, but she's a good girl and a very good fighter. So I definitely think she can go all the way and be a world champion within 18 months.
Now over there, we saw the Mexican Caoimhin Agyarko, Canelo Alvarez. Um,
Yeah.
he was out there. Let's talk about him very quickly. Obviously, you get compared to him very similar sort of styles as such. Now he's looking at obviously going to fight Bivol and then looking at the light heavyweight scene. What do you make of Canelo? Just how good would he be coming, say, 15, 20 years' time, looking back on the history books? Where will he sort of rank for yourself?
I, right now, he's one of the greatest of all time, never mind in 10, 15 years' time. Look what he's done in the sport of boxing, do you know what I mean? He's, I think he started off at 154, light middleweight, and he's went up to middle, super middle, light heavy, do you know what I mean? Full weight world champion, undisputed world champion. Do you know what I mean? The only person to beat him so far is Floyd Mayweather. He's wiped out 3, 4 weight divisions. So listen, he's an unbelievable fighter. And he just seems to keep on getting better and better. I don't know how, but he just seems to be getting better and better. And listen, he's clearly someone who's very dedicated and lives a life, because he fought 4 times last year, I think it was, in 11 months. Do you know what I mean? You don't see many world champions do that. Do you know what I mean? So fair play to him. He's a fighter that wants to be active, wants to challenge himself at different weights, and even going up to there's talks of him going up to cruiserweight and fighting. So I think if he gets Bivol out of the way and then whoever else next, and he does go up to cruiserweight and wins a world title, he has to be considered one of the greatest of all time.
Eddie Hearn made a comment recently saying, obviously, he's undisputed at super middleweight. If he was to go undisputed at light heavyweight, he would be in talks for the best ever, out there with your Sugar Ray Robinsons, etc. Would you put him that high yourself if he does go undisputed in another weight division?
In terms of, would he be the best ever, or just in talks of the best ever?
Would he be the best ever?
No. I don't. I think it's a tough one, because I don't think just boxing makes you the best ever. I think it's your personality, what you've done in the sport, what you do outside the sport. Just you as a person. I think that makes you the best ever. Do you know what I mean? If you look at someone like Michael Jordan, he wasn't just the best ever because he was unbelievable at basketball, but it was everything else that came with it. Do you know what I mean? He just had that mindset. He worked extremely hard and whatever else. But he definitely can be up there with the best ever. But for me, he wouldn't be the best ever. I don't know who the best ever is. It's a tough one as well, because you got different eras and great fighters from different eras. Do you know what I mean? For me, arguably, Floyd Mayweather has to be the best ever. Do you know what I mean? Look at every single fighter that he beat, and the way he done it, and unbeaten, and just the trash talking and how well he built himself, and the paydays that he got, and everything else. So it's a hard one, but then again, Muhammad Ali should be the greatest of all time. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a matter of opinions and who you think is the greatest of all time, and there is no real right answer. There is no yes or no. Do you know what I mean? It's just a matter of opinions. But I think he could definitely be in the top 10 greatest of all time. Would he be top 5? No, I don't think so.
Caoimhin, that's everything from me. Appreciate your time as always, and all the best for the weekend.
Thanks very much, James.